If you have your own website, if you have a blog, every episode can be turned into a blog article. That's going to drive traffic to your website. So, and finally, we get you sponsorship. We can get who doesn't want it paid for completely or use it as an ad revenue source? So we can do that. You coach through it. We do coaching. It's very one-to-one, but it's also, we do have monthly group masterminds. Yes, we clean up the audio and edit, remove unwanted noise, mix intros and outros. We create reels based on your personal branding, thumbnails, quote cards, and post it absolutely everywhere. So the guest booking part is, I'm sure you can imagine, the most time consuming. So we can handle all of that and get you in front of 52 of your ideal guests. And then to come from it. The beauty of a podcast is one piece of content broken down into the video, audio, or the written format that can go all over your social media platforms. And then, as I've said, blog articles. So here's some of the work of the podcast we have. We have 65 on our network, all unique. And we have a whole team behind you. So yeah, if you're interested, let me stop sharing and come back. If you can see the power of how a podcast can actually grow your business, then I'm more than happy to have a chat. So does anybody have any questions? I can't, forgive me, I'm not used to Google Meet, as I said, Josie.
I don't know if you
can.
can.
No worries.
Yeah, can you see?
Go ahead. You had your hand up there.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, I don't know if you can see like the tiles on the side or anything like that. Yeah, I put my hand up because, again, like your format like blew my mind when you shared it with me, because I feel like there's so many people who do all the things because we're told to do all the things, but we don't actually have a strategy in place for the things that we're doing, even for social media, for example, just again, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, right? Like all of these things that we do, we're putting all of this content out there, but are we actually converting leads from the content? And are we actually talking to the audience that we actually want to be talking to? Because Absolutely. Again, I feel like people are throwing all this stuff out there and they're just hoping that something sticks. However, they can't track the numbers. So when you shared with me, you're like, no, you need to like reverse engineer it. Like, who are you talking to? And then create the content around that, not create the content and hope you're attracting people. It's like
Absolutely.
The other way. So yeah, the fact that you can actually track numbers this way absolutely blew my mind. And I'm actually curious to know, and you guys can put it in the chat too, like how many of you guys have actually thought about the format being this way? Because for me, like again, it blew my mind. I did not think about operating it this way at all. So
you're not alone. You're not alone, because I think everybody just sees it. They do. They just see it as a PR stunt.
Yeah.
It's something. Oh look, this is this week's episode. It's almost like you're proving that you're creating content. Because again, like you said, we feel like we should be doing all this stuff, but is it necessary? And what do you do when you're on Instagram? You're scrolling. You might, if I see somebody I know, I might not be interested in their business. I'm not, I'm over here in the UK. I'm not going to go and buy something in San Diego, but I want to support them. And so that's when I say people are always going for the vanity metrics. Like, forget that. I'm sorry, that's just ego talking.
Yeah.
Because you're liking something because you might want to support somebody. It doesn't mean that's going to turn into a sale. And I get it. We're all human and we like numbers, and it's almost like we need validation that what we're doing is worth it. However, when you switch it around, I'll tell you a story. My own podcast, I was in the top 1% globally. I am now in the top 10. Now you might think I'm failing. I'm not. My podcast initially was called, you'll laugh, A Coffee with Karen, A Cup of Positivity with just a sprinkling of woo-woo.
Oh my gosh, you're so funny. Okay.
And I was interviewing coaches and consultants or therapists and healers, and it did get a bit woo-woo. So were the listeners my target audience? No. So do I care that I've dropped? Yeah, I've dropped. That's quite a substantial drop, I might add. However, my podcast now is aimed at coaches. So I'm more successful now, even though I've dropped, than I was when I was in the top 1%.
Right, like the rate of return on your podcast is more now, even though you're in a lower ranking.
Yes. Yeah, so
publicly.
I could be like,
okay, it's so interesting.
Dropped. It really isn't. It's about, well, who's listening? Are they your target audience? Are you going to get, if you're using it to sell, and depending on, are you dealing a lot with first-time buyers? Are you dealing with, lower priced houses? Are you going higher end? Is there an alignment with the listener for what it is you want to do? If you're selling $2 million homes and your listener base only earn $100,000 a year, there's like you're not gonna make it. So it's when you align it with and really think about this, who your dream client is, I suppose, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then build everything around that.
Yeah, I something that you just reminded me of too. There was somebody, and I can't remember who it was probably a number of years ago, and they were saying to me, they're like, as realtors, we don't have direct control over our income. That's what they had said. And I was like, that is so incorrect, because we do have direct control over our income based off of the people that we market to. Because if you're selling, like you said, mobile homes, for example, or like $300,000 homes, you're marketing to that income bracket,
yes.
Right? And then that is a direct correlation with how much money you can actually make. So we do have control over how much money we make in a year, because if we did market to the people that if we were marketing to the people that we wanted to work with, then you would be able to actually get to where you want to go. But I think that there's a lot of people out there that, again, they're just like, oh, well, it just is what it is. And in reality, there's strategy behind it. It's not, it is what it is. You have to put strategy in place to get to where you want to go. So I think that this is just one of the same things. Like you said, you just need to figure out who your target audience is, not water yourself down, get very clear, and then set up a strategy to actually go for that. But yeah, it blew my mind. And I love that you give the what to do, but then you also give us the how to do it, right? Because there's so many things. We have to wear all these different hats in real estate. Like, there's just so many things. Like, how do you keep up? And like, you literally just gave us like the magic sauce of like it, like the facilitation in order to actually execute it, which I think is absolutely amazing. So
awesome.
Yeah. Did anyone else have questions? I know that I kind of just took over, but I again was very happy that Karen was going to come share all this information with us. So does anybody else have questions or anything for Karen? Anyone tried to run a podcast that didn't work out and they're curious to know like what her point of view is on it? It's quiet today.
I'm sorry. Hey Karen, how's it going?
Hi Ryan.
I came a little bit late, but I did end up getting here right at this specific time where you said about people talking and trying to bring value every time. And it kind of hit home for me, to be honest, and I'm sure Joe was on the same page. I know when we were very consistent with our podcast, number one, it was really hard to constantly do that. And I think we missed a lot of opportunities in some of the things that you were mentioning, talking about a lot of the wins that happened, talking about other people's stories. And we meet so many great people through our high performance method. And there's a lot of faces on this call that are people that have huge wins. And it was interesting hearing that. So I appreciate hearing that. I appreciate the value you brought today. And I know Joe was probably sitting there thinking the exact same thing I was thinking.
Well, it's natural, isn't it? We feel like, it comes from a good place. You want to show up and serve. You want to give that, and you think that that's what they need to hear. But really, podcasting is another opportunity it's storytelling. It's the oldest thing, isn't it, throughout history. People want to hear the stories. You know, I always start. I ask Skyly, what was the inspiration behind you becoming a realtor? People want to hear something different. You know, what sparked that? That's what they're listening for. You know, just because then you can share your expertise, but you've got to bring them in with a story initially, and that's what people resonate with. And let's face it, realtors don't necessarily have a great name in general. And so it's your opportunity to humanize yourself and I don't think they would sell their own grandmother, you know, because it is. It shows them the real you. Yeah. You don't have to pretend to be somebody that you're not. And Joseph, because Joseph was saying earlier, we had a little bit of a chit chat before coming on that, you know, the more views with the more personal stuff. And we forget that. We think that we cannot share our struggles or our challenges, but people want to hear the breakthrough moments, the aha moments, because they want to almost hear them. They want to see them in the story, and they think, oh, well, she overcame that challenge. Oh, I think she's the one for me, or he's the one that's going to help me. You know, I've got to downsize. I'm dreading it. You know, there's all these other realtors that can help, but actually, I'm going to go to him because he shared a story of working with a client that had similar issues, and that's how it works.
Yeah, I think too, and even to add to that, the story it can continue to go on, right? Like, I think of all the podcasts that I listen to and ones that I, you know, really passionate about, and it's like when they end and it's like, yeah, we're gonna update you guys as it happens, and I'm like, oh no, it's over. Like, it's like a bad ending to a movie, right?
You got the cliffhanger. It's the cliffhanger.
Yeah, exactly. You're just waiting for the next episode to come out, right? And it bings on your phone. You're like, yes, it's got to be that one, right?
There you go. I mean, it's taking over TV, isn't it? I mean,
totally. Just like YouTube. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, Natalie.
Hi, Natalie.
Hi, Karen. I love your beautiful British accent.
Oh.
I know. I'm the same. I'm like, I could listen to her talk all day.
Oh my goodness, I'm a South London. I don't think most people here would say I've got a great accent.
Unbelievable. I took a lot of courage to ask you this because they all know in here that I'm not good at the computer. I can even post on Facebook, but I'm very interested in what you say because I love to tell story. Scotty, you know that. Joe,
you're a really good storyteller too, Natalie, actually. You are.
I love telling people stuff that, you know, share from my heart. But question here, like I say, a person that is so dumb in technology and these things, how can I start it? Because I have an idea of what to say sometime. Maybe I can share it, and if that's going to expand my soil and then get people to know me and to earn more business, yes, sure. How do I start this? I'm just, you know, this is...
all that would be required of you, can you use Zoom? Well, you're on Google Meet, so you can do Google Meet. You could record on Google Meet. You hit the record button and you have your conversation. Then everything else we deal with. So it really is as simple as that.
So the podcast, is it a short story or is it a long story?
Well, what we I mean, again, like, it's very bespoke. Every single one of you would be completely different. Like some of our clients will do a solo episode, then an interview. Personally, especially if you're new, I would say go for interview initially, because then you're going to be introduced to 52 new audiences, and it's so much easier to be the host and ask the guest questions if you're new to it. As you become more comfortable, it will become easier for you to then share a story and then teach something. But it's really, if you wanted to do it to increase transactions, it's about almost being, so, well, whereabouts are you, Natalie? What demographic do you serve?
I am in New York, Brooklyn, Manhattan, New York.
New York, Brooklyn. So it's about you being the go-to realtor for there. So you could be almost, if you interviewed local business owners, it could be, I don't know, financial advisor. It could still be stuff around real estate, but thinking of who would send you business. And then you're just going to ask them questions for them to share their stories. And then it's just conversational. That's all it is. It's conversational. And then you become almost known as the go-to realtor relating to all things about living in New York.
So I could be the realtor that love to eat, because we visit a lot of restaurants.
There you go. Interview restaurant owners. They talk to a lot of people throughout the day, don't they? So they could refer people to you. Well, who are they going to choose? Somebody out of Zillow, or somebody that they were invited on their podcast? You're doing something for them. You make them feel good. You're helping them shine.
But then, what is your company do?
We do everything. You send us the raw recording. We make it all look pretty, have an intro and an outro. We post it to YouTube. We do the SEO behind it. We do absolutely everything.
So I just need to talk and eat?
You just need to record.
Talk and eat.
Yeah.
You can eat at the same time, can you?
Thank you so much. So we're going to have a conversation after this meeting, yeah? Right? We're going to get your information after this meeting.
Yes.
I don't know. I'll send you. I don't know if you've probably not got my link, but I can always put my booking call if you want to have a chat about it.
Karen, if you wanted to put it in the chat, then we can do that. And then I have the email list for everyone too. So if anybody is wanting to reach out, like I can definitely like send a booking link out to everybody for that too. Because again, you and I have already chatted about this. Like I am like going to be diving in with you too, and I think it's a really amazing opportunity for everybody else on this call. If you guys were wanting to start a podcast, like again, I wouldn't have asked Karen to come here if I didn't think that what she was offering was amazing and that it would be of value to you guys. So there is no pressure, obviously, but again, I love it enough because I'm diving in. So I was like, you guys need to hear what Karen has to say. So if you guys want the link as well, then yeah, feel free to put it in the chat, Karen, or again, I can like send a blast out to everybody as well.
Awesome.
Oh, you did put it in the chat. Perfect.
Yeah, I popped it in the chat.
Okay.
So Joseph, I know you stopped your podcast, but yeah, you were doing all solo episodes. It's hard work, isn't it?
Yeah, it was my business partner and I. Yeah, we did a lot of episodes. We didn't have a lot of interviews. I think out of like, I don't know. I think Ryan's here. I think he turned his camera off.
Yeah.
But we did probably about, it's got to be just shy of 100 episodes. And a lot of it was like myself and my business partner. We would get on and we would in the beginning, we would know what we're going to talk about. We'd have clear direction. Then there's other times where it's just like, well, we need to record. And we're like, oh God, what are we going to say? So we just kind of dig in and sometimes tempers flare a little bit and people get frustrated. And so how many episodes did we do? It had to be just shy of 100.
That's crazy.
That's a lot. That's a lot. And when you're having to come up with the content yourselves, that's a lot. That's a lot, right?
Yeah, it was. And the ones where we talked about ourselves, they always did better than the ones where it was like, here's a thing. It was people wanting to know about us, but I ran into a roadblock, and we were sort of talking about this, Karen, right as we were sort of winding down the podcast. I had a family member that passed away with cancer, and I kind of came into it from a different zone where the podcast, I felt I had people knew too much about me, and so what kind of happened where people started reaching out, and I drifted away. I was just I don't need this right now, so I almost gave too much. And then I went to the other side, and whenever we would do a podcast after that, I would edit out anything about me personally. And so it kind of just became this weird thing that I'd have to wrestle with every single week, and it became a major roadblock. But again, that roadblock occurred because we didn't have a clear vision. We didn't have a clear goal. It wasn't planned out. It was just sit down and record.
Yeah. Which is fair. Look, everybody goes through it, and you know, that's why I say, like in the beginning, I had a very different format, you know, because we don't know what we don't know. When I started, I had no clue what I was doing in the beginning, you know. I just thought it was fun. But when you want to use it, if you want to use it as a business tool, that's when you've got to get strategic about, okay, what do I want from this? And what do the listeners want to listen to? And then when you can tie that in and really work out, based on who it's aimed at, on creating the right content around a guest, because you can still teach, even with it, you're having a guest, you can still have the conversation and input your thought process, and you could have a guest who's maybe serving the same audience that you're looking for. You know, if you were in the high-end luxury market, interviewing, I don't know, the local people who do high-end kitchens, you know, well, again, wouldn't they refer people to realtors? So it's all about, when you think about it from that point of view, about starting relationships with people that you would love the opportunity to get in a room with anyway. You're killing two birds with one stone there, and you don't know what can come from that. So it's all about the intention behind it.
Yeah, I love the relationship building though, and I have said this for a really long time. I was going on a lot of like conventions and stuff like that, and a friend of mine, he has done very, very well in the real estate world as like a public speaker, and so we were going to an event, and I was like, hey, like, you should introduce me to some of these people, and he's like, okay, like, what's your goal? Like, what is it that you're like wanting to accomplish here with like meeting certain people? Because that's going to depend on who I introduce you to. And I said, I was like, I don't have an itinerary for the people that I meet. So yes, I think like targeting people that like make sense, because again, I'm networking with realtors at this point, but I don't like to put people into specific categories. Like you said, you can literally interview all these different people of a large subheading, and then let the cards fall where the cards may fall, and the relationship can flourish in so many different directions, right? Like, just because you sat and talked with a developer, and like maybe in the back of your head you're like, oh, it would be really nice in order to meet this developer, who knows, maybe you could actually end up landing one of their new constructions and have 300 plus listings, right? But I like that, let the relationship go where the relationship could potentially go. Just let it go where it's supposed to go.
Absolutely.
Because even if you don't get what you think in the back of your head might happen, they could connect you with somebody else, or their referrals, or this, or do you know what I mean? There's so many other things that can happen 100%. From just building relationships with people. So just,
that's
right?
For me, that's the biggie.
Just
is in the
relationship
side, and you don't know. I mean, you don't know what opportunities come from that. And yeah, it might not be a direct referral or a sale, or it might not be now. It could come years down the line. You just don't know. So it just means that throughout your working week, and within everything else that you're doing, every week you're going to sit down with a new person that you haven't met yet. You haven't yet started a relationship with. Well, that's 52 just in your first year. What could come of that? Yeah, just all the relationships are amazing. And even like you and I meeting, right? Like, this is now the third time that we've hung out. And I don't think that when I got asked to be on your podcast, that we knew obviously that this is where you were going to be a month and a half later. So yeah, I love it. I do. We are at 11:59. We went a little bit over. Normally we're like 45 minutes max. But No. It's not. I mean, anybody who had to leave, they've already left. So I just want to thank you so much for coming on today, adding value to our friends and our network. So I hope you guys found value today. And and again, thank you so much, Karen, for popping in today. I'm going to send you guys an email with the link here that Karen has added if you guys haven't had a chance to grab it. But yeah, feel free to touch base with Karen. Wealth of knowledge, obviously, you guys. And we'll see you on the next Coach's Corner. Thank you for having me.
Bye guys.